Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Football United TV. This is Gunners from All Corners. Now it's time for that famous intro. People, I hope you're enjoying your Friday so far. But now we've got a show to do. Right, on today's show, we've got Marley, cousin from Brazil. How you doing, Marley?
Doing well, mate. Doing well. Been a little sick, but like fine enough to talk. Miss chatting some Arsenal, so glad
Yeah.
to be back.
Well, hopefully, talking about Arsenal, it might perk you up a little bit. You
Let's
know,
hope so.
make you feel a bit better.
Yeah.
And and next to me in the corner is well, does he really need any introduction? He's Tony. He's always here. He's always on the show. He loves this show. And big ups to you, Tone. How you doing, mate?
Hey man, it's good, man. And see, guys, I'm back to goodness from all corners. It's a lovely show. Since I started doing YouTube, I've always been here consistently, and it's nice to see our other partner down here. And Anthony, man. Let's get this started. Yeah, let's get it started.
Yeah, let's get this started. Right, let's go on to the first one. Right, we're gonna go to the Chelsea game. Um, basically, yeah. I mean, obviously the scoreline's there, 3-1. Obviously, I watched this game. I thought this game was good. I mean, it's such a good, solid performance for me in the first half. The second half, we kind of dipped, if you know what I mean, in the second half. Uh, the Chelsea goal, I got to say this. I think the Chelsea goal was caused by an error, and the error I find was when it came back from the left back position with Shevchenko. He was just left there, helplessly. He wasn't doing anything, and basically Chelsea exploited that left hand side of the pitch, obviously where Shevchenko was supposed to be, and obviously got their goal from it. But all in all, I think I was happy with the game. It was a good game, entertaining game. Chelsea come alive in the last. I'd most probably say within the 30 minutes of the game, 35 minutes of the game. But I just want to get your thoughts on this game. I tell you what, Gus, I'm going to come to you on this one. I want your thoughts on this game, and what did you think of the error by Shevchenko as well?
um, right. Well, let's start with the game overall. It was
Yep.
even though Arsenal hasn't been playing too well, like it was expected. Like who the hell doesn't beat Chelsea right now? They suck. Like they suck. If this form of theirs started like 5, 10 games before, like they would be fighting relegation right now because everyone's doing like they're the worst team in the league right now. Everyone's beating them left to right. Like it's not hard. So like from the standpoint that it's very unlikely that Arsenal finishes anything but second place right now. Like from this game, I wanted it to be a little bit more humiliating. Not gonna lie, I don't like Chelsea whatsoever. So like that was a performance like mainly from the first half that we could have gotten a good like 5-1, 6-1, and like Zinchenko making mistakes, mate. Like decisions in football, they come with pros and cons. Like it's very rare to find a fullback that's very good going forward and very good going back as well. Zinchenko has that like he's extremely good creating. Like he's a playmaker that plays on the left. That starts as a fullback, but truly like plays as a midfielder most of the game. That comes with pros and cons. Like it usually helped us out this season. It usually worked, but every now and then, like he's gonna cost us a couple of goals. Like he's going to. He's a number 10 playing a left back. He's not incredibly skilled when it comes to defending. He's not as intelligent as he is because he's brilliant going forward. Like he's a genius when it comes to attacking play, but defensively he's not. Like he doesn't have that defensive IQ that Saliba, even though he's really young, does. Or Tierney, who like has like good defensive IQ and he's a beast as well. He's a beast built to defend. So like decisions made. Like like it's cost us points every now and then, and that definitely frustrates me because like we're fighting for the league title, but like I'm not gonna be too mad about a mistake where like we're easily winning the game and it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's not too bad. The other thing as well is, does it surprise you? I mean, the way I mean, do you think the Chelsea team that we know, because at Chelsea from years ago, we always knew they was always finishing in the top four. How they've even won the league under Mourinho, didn't they? But I mean, when have they been? Is it since the sacking of Tuchel? Since Tuchel's left and they replaced him with Frank Lampard. And did you find he finds it hard to get through to the players, like like the tactics and formations and the way they want to play? In other words, can he motivate a team anymore, Frank Lampard? That's
You asking me?
Charlie. Yeah,
Okay, dude. The whole takeover was done so poorly. Like it was so chaotic. The way in which they recruited, spending loads and loads of money that I'm sure like I have to be attached to the hope that that's gonna bite them in the ass like in the future. You can't
yeah,
not. Like the way they structured deals, like it was so sketchy everything they did. And it's like from the bottom to all the way up, like when it comes to managers as well, like they didn't think about the what they were doing. And Lampard, mate, like I'm gonna be honest with you, he needs to stop managing for a long time now because he's an idol in England. He's one of the best midfielders, like one of the best English midfielders ever. He was a great, phenomenal player. I hated him. I'm an Arsenal fan, so naturally I'm gonna hate a brilliant player that plays for Chelsea.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
he was amazing, and he's ruining his reputation. Right now, he needs to take a step back. Like if he wants to be a manager, like study hard, study like study all over the place. Go take some courses. Go next to some like brilliant managers out there because that's doable, and just learn your trade. Because like what was it like 21 less games? He's lost 19, drew one. He won
yeah.
one. Like that's not all with Chelsea, but just under Lampard. And where was he before Chelsea? Because I forgot already.
I I think
Everton.
Chelsea
I
were.
think it was Everton.
Yeah, he was at Everton. Yeah,
Everton, they're not doing well, but then again, like that's not a crap club. That's a huge club that's fighting relegation this season. But like, come on, 19 losses in 21. Like Lampard's never shown anything that can lead us to believe he's a decent manager. Never. Just because he was a smart player, it doesn't necessarily translate. He needs to take a step back, but you can't put it all on him. Like Chelsea
no,
was losing before Lampard too. It's all over the place, man. Like, and I love to see it. I love it.
you love it. Like
I
same,
do.
the same to you. But just remember, just before I ask you this question, you got to remember one thing: it's trending now. Chelsea are known now as relegation Chelsea, right? This is what they're known as, right? But yeah, let's get your thoughts on the game first of all, team.
See, if there's, you know what, yeah, I think this Chelsea crushed 3-1 is it. mm. See, yeah, Chelsea Football Club, they're in a very, very sorry state, yeah. That's the bottom line. See, These guys in 10 games, yeah, they've lost 7 in 10 games, yeah, and drawn 2 in, in that space. These guys are deeply rooted in 12th, yeah, in that Premier League table, yeah. Of course, they've played 33 games. They've scored only 31 this season, yeah, and they've actually conceded 38 goals this season with 39 points on that Premier League table. It's a shambolic team. It's genuinely the type of statistics you really want to see from a relegation battling team in a season. So, coming into this game, they weren't coming into this game as two-time European champions, or the Chelsea of old. We all knew that, they were in there for the taking. Uh, but see, yeah, going into this game, mind you, Arsenal's form also wasn't inspiring also. So we definitely needed a bounce back, and not just a bounce back in that game also. I really wanted to see the mentality of Mikel Arteta, in that matchup, because there were few players who weren't performing well in our last game, or in a string of games in the last 4 or 5 games, yeah, for Arsenal Football Club. Definitely, we drew 3 at the bounce. We lost to Manchester City. Those are not inspiring results in any way. So we did need lots of changes from Mikel Arteta. Did he ring the changes? Well, he did. He brought in Jorginho. You saw Trossard in that game too. So it just started in a fast pace kind of way, and that's genuinely the kind of aura and environment that Martin Odegaard thrives on, when your wingers are there and running at defenders from, from all corners, just like Gunners from all corners, right? Saka is running at, at you. Trossard is running at you. Martinelli rooted deep down into the bench on the day, and you could just see Martin Odegaard running the show yet again, scoring the goals yet again. See, it's easy peasy, yeah. But again, let's don't allow that win against Chelsea bamboozle us in any way. Arsenal is still recovering mentally from those draws, that we got against Southampton, West Ham, and the Everton, all those teams. Yeah, the proof is in the pudding. But going forward, yeah, if you check the statistics of that match, Arsenal had about 55% of the ball possession. Of course, Chelsea had 45% of that same ball possession. I think Arsenal had about 10 shots on goal. Chelsea just 4. See, it was a poor Chelsea team, nothing to write home about. I had no fear in that team. And of course, that was just the right stage for Mikel Arteta to stamp his authority on that team by keeping Thomas Partey on the bench to at least have a rest. We have a bigger fish to fry in terms of going to St. James Park, where we will need our strongest of players like Thomas Partey. He needs to be strong. I had a problem with Mikel Arteta not hacking Gabriel Magalhaes off the field when he was showing signs of strains all over. Chelsea, left a few tackles on Gabriel on the night. I was surprised he wasn't hacked off in the early hours of the second, in the early minutes of the second half. I was so surprised. So now we're left with no first team
Yeah,
centre backs ready for that Newcastle game. So see, yeah. So even in the midst of that injury that happened to Gabriel Magalhaes, easily we took care of Chelsea Football Club. Shambolic, and that's why they're rooted in 12. And you know what? Yeah, in their upcoming games, I don't see anywhere. Seriously, if anyone sees anywhere, they're gonna get one more point to be able to be kind of like, not be in a relegation battle officially. Please tell me. They're going to face Nottingham Forest. The next match coming up tomorrow is against Bournemouth. Bournemouth haven't lost in 6 games. See, They have Manchester City coming up. They're going for the title. They're genuinely gonna lose. They have Newcastle. See, it's a gory story. It's like a script from Annabelle, the horror story. Yeah, I think Chelsea Football Club, they're in deep waters, my brother, man. It's gonna be
Yeah,
difficult. Great story.
It's
yeah,
the thing is, and I want to agree with you so much, and I do agree that Chelsea's not going to make, like, they're not going to be getting any more points. I agree. The thing is, I feel like 39 points, which they're at right now, is going to be enough to avoid relegation. That's why they're not getting
Yeah,
relegated. That's why I said, like,
sure.
if this run of theirs started like 5 games beforehand, mate, Chelsea would be playing championship football next season because they're
Mhm.
shambolic. It makes no sense, and it's so funny. Like, they spent crazy, like stupid amounts of money, mainly in attack, and they can't score. Their defense is not even that bad. You look at the numbers, that's a solid defense. Conceding like 38 and 34, 33 games, that's decent. It's not
yeah.
horrible. But then you look at the attack, like less than 1 goal a game, spending that much money, my man, yo,
Yeah.
And mind you, they have a wealth of attacking talents down there. They
yeah,
have Modric, who they brought in for something close to 90 million euros. They have Aubameyang, who also came back, having a bone to pick with Arsenal Football Club. It's not scoring any
yeah,
goals for them. Of course, see all these things. Yeah, it paints a total horrible situation for Chelsea Football Club, and see, yeah, you lay your bed, just lie on it.
Yeah,
exactly.
but no, you're absolutely right. I do agree with you. And it's like what you said with the talent that he got there with Modric and and Enzo, the £100 million player as well. And I really thought before this game started, and when I saw Bamiyang in the team, obviously he was playing, and I thought to myself, I thought, if we're capable of winning this, but if Chelsea scores, it's going to be a banger. Yeah, I don't ask me why. That was what I thought. And then I tell you what, he wasn't in the game at all, was he? Hardly.
No, he
He
was
he,
not.
he was absolutely dire, And do
I
you think that Aubameyang's time at playing at top flight football is most probably like sort of like coming to an end, and most probably he needs to dip to dip down and play for like a mediocre team, like if you like. I'll go to you on that one, cuz. Do you reckon he should do that, Aubameyang?
Um, I think it's a little bit up to him. Like, there's one aspect of his game that's like it was throughout his career one of the most important aspects, and that's speed. He's gonna lose it with age. But Aubameyang's a fine finisher. He's good. He's very smart when it comes to like finding the right spots to be like that guy that's gonna just tap the ball in. Like, he scores a lot of those goals. I feel like it's mostly mental, mate. And it's the thing with Chelsea. Like, I was afraid of playing Chelsea that first time just because like you're always afraid of former players. You're always like, and we like as fans, we notice those goals more. Like when Walcott scores against us, like I'm gonna take a
Yeah,
look at that. Walcott loves us, but like it's still a former player. But Aubameyang, like I was afraid of that vengeance that first game. Like he was unnoticeable. Like he did not exist, and it was the same thing last time we played them. And it was like I feel like that's the thing. Like Lampard has no idea what he's doing. Like
yeah,
Aubameyang and Mudryk haven't been playing well. They like Aubameyang started and Mudryk came in. I feel like that was mostly because he felt like those two players would want to show something just because of the history with Arsenal. But it was so ineffective. I feel like Aubameyang could still, like, if he puts his mind straight, like he could still be a decent striker. Perhaps not at the level we saw when he was best performing at Arsenal or back at the Borussia days. But like there's not a whole lot of excellent strikers out there. There's a lot of strikers that are not as technically gifted as Aubameyang with decent numbers. So he could definitely like do a job for not even mediocre teams, but good teams like a Villa with Aubameyang up front. Like if he like set his mind straight, like a Champions League fight, like Champions League spot fighting club in Germany or in Spain, Italy. I feel like
Yeah,
his career is not over unless he wants it to be.
See,
yeah,
I'll
that's
just
true.
like to
Yeah,
chime. I'll just
same.
like to chime in on. I'd like to chime in on that one. Yeah. See, Aubameyang, class striker. Yeah, we do understand that. On his day, he can hit a screamer. On a very very good day. But I'm sorry. Yeah, that was like 3 4 seasons ago. Or 2 seasons ago, if you want to just make it a little bit in a lighter way. Yeah. See, when a striker over 30, yeah, over 30 years is coming into the league, yeah, in a rush. He doesn't have time to settle. Mostly after he came out from that traumatic experience down there in Barcelona, where his wife was attacked, he was attacked, his kids were attacked. Suddenly, he had to move. He had to terminate his contract down there at FC Barcelona. He had to move to England in a rush, and Chelsea, where we need a striker. See, he never really had the time, uh, the light of day to really just settle into that football club. And again, uh, Aubameyang is genuinely one of Arsenal's most lethal strikers. And you're coming into London where you have loyalties to Arsenal Football Club. And again, the traumatic experiences that he has faced in Barcelona, and came to England back again in a rush and playing for one of the most biggest rivals in London itself. I don't think you can settle with that mentally. And of course, it showed in his game. He looks a shadow of himself. He doesn't want to run. He can't even make those deep runs. He can't tackle. He can't come in from the wing. He's genuinely tired. He can't actually run again. Age is beginning to catch up with him. You know what? Yeah, I think there comes a time in a striker's life where he has to, just call it a day, and just go into one of these MLS, make good money for you and your family in the United States of America, or in Qatar, where they're making crazy money these days, or even in Dubai. Any of these places, make crazy money and just call it quits, and just relax. And I think that's what Aubameyang should be doing right now, rather than trying to pick a bone with a club that he had almost king-like kind of standing with Arsenal Football Club.
That's
Yeah,
fair as
I mean, it's
well.
like what BX81, well, BX Gunner 81, sorry, he says uber lax spine. There's no stand and fight. He runs at the first sign of a struggle. So, I mean, we are sort of roughly saying that in one way, but trying to make it into a different content, like is we're trying to praise up an ex player, but we just know he's sadly lacking. He's got no momentum. He's got no rhythm on the pitch now, has he? He's got no charisma. Anything like that at all. It's like what we're saying. Well, basically, like what Tony was saying. It might be best for him to go to MLS and just play games and get money you know when he's at it. That's what they all seem to be doing now. But he's still struggling there, and I feel whoever whoever the next Chelsea manager is, they've got to sort out that squad, because the size of the squad they've got, the talent and the wages coming out of that squad, I think FFP is just going to be knocking on the door.
They're screwed. They're not going to have any European football next season with
Well,
probably the biggest wage bill ever, with probably like the most money spent within the last 2 years. And the team is still not good. Like it's
uh,
not good.
Still not good. It's still not good. And again, look at, yeah, sometimes we look at the smoke screen. Sometimes, yeah, we don't really look at the bigger fish in the waters. Yeah, the bigger fish is that they signed all these players into long-term contracts. Yeah, some 8 years, more like slave contract. Yeah, with these guys, Modric and the rest of them. Yeah, on 8 years. Yeah, and I heard from some from some quarters, yeah, that there's a mutiny right now in Chelsea Football Club, that these guys that have signed long-term deals are like saying, "What the hell are we doing here? Why should we be? Why did we sign that? This long-term slavish contract and having three managers in one season? It's hell, for this
mhm.
player." So Chelsea Football Club, they're in real big trouble. Yeah, in real
They
big
are.
trouble.
They
They are
are.
real big trouble. Yeah.
Their best defender is like 38 or 39, and I'm assuming he's going to be leaving. He's going to
Exactly.
be leaving when he's contracted until 2024. But I'm
Mm.
assuming because Chelsea won't be able to afford so many wages, they're probably going to let him go because he needs to come back to Fluminense.
Yeah. But
But he's
Mm,
that
it's
if he decides to
there-
stay, cause at Chelsea, does that take? Surely that would roughly take him up to almost the age of 40, wouldn't it?
yeah. Mate,
yeah.
Thiago Silva, like you look at him, you look at the way he plays, like he doesn't look like a 38-year-old.
No.
Sure, he looks like a 33-year-old, but like he's still when he comes back to Brazil and he's going to retire at Fluminense, that's very obvious. I mean, he's not going to be fast. He's definitely going to have to play with someone younger next to him, but
Yeah.
he's so good. The quality
Yeah.
Thiago Silva has, like I can honestly say, Thiago Silva could do a job in Brazil at age 45. He's not going to do that. He's probably going to play like
No.
2 years and retire, retiring at 41 or something. But it's Thiago
Yeah.
Silva, mate. He's one of the best
Yeah.
defenders ever. So
Well, he might go back to like Fluminense. He might not. I mean, in all fairness, like here, they might be in the hunt for him. You know?
that Man City money.
But it,
Yeah.
but again, this paints a gory story and a gory type of situation around the football club, which is Chelsea. How come is Thiago Silva your best defender when you splashed almost getting to the essence of nearly 700 million euros in in the summer, and in past transfer windows, and your best defender is a Brazilian who has had his playing days in AC Milan and PSG and came to just have that pensioners money down there at Chelsea Football Club. Why is he your best defender? These questions really need to be asked. Uh,
Yeah.
your recruitment strategy, who decided to buy these players? You don't have two good centre backs right now. Koulibaly, a shadow of himself, hasn't really settled in Chelsea, even in London. And mind you, Italian players. Well, when was the last time you've seen Italian players come and play in the English league? The last of them to come around and is not really having fun is Skumaka, who plays for West Ham.
West Ham.
And right now, yeah, Skumaka, and he wants to run back. Italian players don't really like it. Koulibaly is not an Italian player, but he's had all his playing days most of the time in Napoli. Yeah, and when they come to the English league, there's genuinely a problem. Most Italians don't like coming down to the English league, and that's what Chelsea have.
I mean,
You better rely on them.
I don't want to hate on London because like it's a city
Mm.
that I very much want to go to, but like moving from the climate of Naples, to go to London can't be fun. Like it can't be fun. It just can't.
Especially
But
weather.
I agree. Like you look at the whole business they've done recently, like last couple years, the only ones that worked out were Mendy for a brief period because he's not good anymore. So it's Thiago Silva and Enzo. And Enzo, like you can still say that they overpaid because come on, so much money. But he's playing well. Not gonna go there too much. But other than
Yeah.
that, like you don't
Was it
even know the
Benfica?
players. Like I have no idea the names of the players that Chelsea bought because they splashed like 50 mil on unknown players.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
truly,
I think
King said
it's
it. King said it.
Benfica, wasn't it?
They played Football Manager. They played FIFA. They
Yeah.
thought they were playing FIFA.
Uh, and buying average players for big time money. For Fana, what was that? Up to nearly 70 million pounds that they scooped away from the hands of Chelsea Football Club, and it's a bank average player. I don't even think he makes the Arsenal team. So see, yeah, we can talk about this from morning till night. That Chelsea team are in genuine trouble. And see, yeah, it doesn't matter if a big time coach comes to that team. See, uh, I even have mercy on Frank Lampard with what he's facing. Yeah, any coach would struggle with that team. And pick these guys from different places. No time to play around, no time to understand the players in the team, no time to galvanize, motivate each other. This is what you face. Even the Arsenal team, we're talking about our youth that have been playing together for the past 3-4 seasons, and right now they just needed one or two Centurions to come in and uh, make a big splash, for the challenge of that title this season. And that's what Chelsea can get. No harmony, no motivation, nothing in
No,
that team.
no, that's
It's a
true.
shocking
I,
story for
Can I
them.
say a little more? Like, we're not done talking about Chelsea. Like, I have more to say.
Mm, mm, mm.
I tell
Because
you
then you were
what,
going to
I
ask
tell you,
something.
guys, cookie, right? Guys,
Mm.
I tell you what, I'm gonna hit the comments, and then
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do, if you want to talk about another 5-10 minutes about Chelsea, we can do. Okay, all
All
right.
right. All right.
Does it make you feel better?
It does. It
It
does. Like, I feel like I'm
see,
not
I
saying
told you,
anymore.
It
you
does,
know, I
man.
have this
It
streak.
does. It does. It
Yo,
does. You do feel
yeah.
that satisfying
One bad
feeling,
thing said about
seeing
Chelsea a
Chelsea
day
being
keeps a doctor
beaten and
away.
humiliated in the heart of London. It's
Yeah.
horrible. In the heart of
Oh,
London. It's
Beautiful.
horrible.
okay. Let's get
For them
let's
to be
get to the comments
humiliated and
then.
crushed
I just
in the way and the manner that they were.
Yeah, right. Okay, then I'm just gonna go to the comments. Right, Brush is in there. He's saying like, subscribe, and sub. Yes, make sure you do. That's important. And also, Eddie Football Waffles in. He's saying good evening. I'm dropping a like. Big up. Yeah,
Big ups,
Matt's
Eddie.
in. He
Big
said
ups,
thanks
big
for
show.
liking, subscribing. Almost ready to begin. Yeah, yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, well done, Matt. And King Swatin, yes, he's the man. Right,
I miss
he's
you,
saying
King.
Arsenal were 3-0 up at half time. Chelsea were what's that? I can't read that. That's no, Chelsea were dealt with easily, crushed by the best team in London right now. Well, everybody says Chelsea were the best team, but I'm sorry, Arsenal's always been the best team in London because just go back on history on Premier League titles. That to me is enough said. I know, in fact, they've won a couple of Champions League, but we've won a couple of European Cups as well. Well, the European Cup, Winners' Cup, we've won it twice, but we're still
Yeah,
Europe.
exactly.
So try to play football. He's got to deal with a swift blow. What's that? Do what Brighton and Benfica on the Real Madrid are doing. Scout decent South American market and Japan especially, and grab them before they do. There is some talent that's coming out of that. Exactly, you are absolutely right. There is some.
Yeah,
We've
there's
had
always
this one
talent.
about Uber as well.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Imagine they can't all sell enough. Well, this is, I take it obviously he's talking about the Chelsea team.
Yeah, I'll
Matt
get
saying
to that.
smash the likes and subscribe and all that. One of my favourite shows is back. But I keep that. Cheers, mate. And he also says, I have never seen a team with so many quality players with winners. They're as poor, not even close. But it's true though. It's true. Charlie, do you still want to see anything on this
Briefly, very briefly,
Celtics?
very briefly. I mean, yes, there's still a lot of winners there, but then again, like the biggest thing is they spent a lot of money on players that are very unproven, and that mostly screws themselves. Like I've mentioned this to a lot of people before. Like imagine if Mudrik is on what, like I've heard 100, but it could be a little less, maybe 80 bucks a week, 80,000 a week, right? How
Yeah.
much is Reece James going to ask for when he renews his contract? Like the most exciting English talent in defense. How much is he going to ask for? Like, how much are the truly exciting players that Chelsea going to ask for when they're renewing their contracts? Because someone that was making 5,000 a week just jumped from that to 75, 80, 100, 100,000. It's crazy. But here's why everyone should strongly dislike Chelsea. They're single-handedly ruining the market for everyone. Because if Mudrik is that much money, imagine like how much is Saka worth? Like 300 mil? Like I, Honestly,
Well,
because if Mudryk is 80 mil, like I feel like 150, which is probably what people would try to buy Saka for. I feel like that's
Mm.
little. That's little
it most
because
certainly will be. I think you'd be talking around about the 200 million mark at least. And also, it's like what people didn't realise is that it was going back a few weeks ago that actually Saka did sign a contract with us, and he's on. It's a 5-year contract, and he's on 220 grand a week.
yeah, but that's like Saka is
I'm so
like he's.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Saka hasn't signed any contract with Arsenal. I'm
I
sorry.
don't think
Yeah,
he's
he
signed
has.
yet.
I'm sorry.
He
No,
He
has.
hasn't signed any
it's
contract.
it's it's
He
said to be
hasn't signed any
agreed. It's
contract.
said to be
In fact,
agreed, but he
it's
hasn't
out
signed.
there. It's out there. It's a big problem right now, man.
I think the big
He
problem, like
hasn't signed that
it
deal,
seems that
man, and it's a big
negotiations with
problem.
Saliba
Just
are
last
not
week,
advanced.
coming.
Yeah.
PSG were saying that they're coming with 160 million euros for Saka. See, it might turn his head. Mind you, Manchester City are waiting in the wings, monitoring that situation. We've not signed our big time players into new deals just yet. That's a big problem. We have to be looking at our Arsenal
Already
Football
did.
Club. Just like I told you, just last week, PSG have thrown their hats into that challenge for Saka for 106 million pounds. That's huge. Saliba. See, our biggest players, Arsenal haven't signed them into contracts yet. It's a genuine problem. I find it to be problematic in a way. So, but we can also continue anyway.
Oh,
No,
right.
we
I
had
could have
we had
sworn
the
we signed
three.
them.
We had the three, right? Like it was Martinelli, Saka, and Saliba. Martinelli has already signed. I heard like it's spread that Saka is close to agreeing, right? Like people seem to be more worried about Saliba, but he hasn't signed yet. There's gonna be a lot of PR when he signs. I can guarantee you that. Like I signed the thing. Like he's gonna bring it up. Like it's gonna be very noteworthy when Saka signs. He hasn't yet, but I feel like he's gonna stay. I honestly feel like Saka's gonna say no to 160 unless he doesn't
Yeah,
renew, of course.
yeah, no, he
But
would. Yeah,
that's the thing. He's not even a good example when you're talking about Chelsea because Saka is one of those franchise players, right? Like he's the biggest star in Arsenal and all of that. But even the likes of Rice, like Declan Rice, like he doesn't have too long left. He's probably going to cost us like 60, 70 mil.
yeah.
When with the amount of time he has left in his contract, it should probably be around 35. But clubs like Chelsea keep spending crazy amounts of money, like 60 mil on Cucurella. Like United spends 80 mil on Maguire. You have these crazy it's their fault because you say 200 mil for Saka. That's what
True.
Mbappe should be worth. You
Yeah,
know,
it's true.
That's
I
not
could have sworn we
should be
did
worth.
sign though. I thought I read it somewhere on the Arsenal website, but obviously I was wrong. But hopefully he does sign. But it makes you think, with the wages that he's got to be offered basically top dollar because I'm telling you now, if Eddie Nketiah's on 100 grand a week, surely he's got to be. Saka's going to be saying, well, if he's on 100 grand a week and he's not performing, and because he's one of our top goal scorers, Saka, he's got about what 14 goals, it's league goals this season. So, do you know what I'm saying? He's going to have to turn around and say, well, if Eddie's got if he's on 100 grand a week, I want at least 220 grand a week
but I think
just
that's
to
it.
keep him.
I think that's it. I
Yeah,
think Saka is going to be the highest paid player in Arsenal alongside either Jesus or Partey because I always forget who's the highest paid player in the squad.
I think it's
Mm.
Partey.
Yeah, I think Saka is going to
It's
It's
match that.
it's Thomas Partey. It's Thomas Partey, and this was the reason why last week, yeah, I was telling lots of Arsenal fans that were hitting Bukayo Saka quite hard with harsh criticisms, and there were also calls for him to be dropped to the bench. See, we just have to be careful, with that topic here. PSG circling around him, Manchester City circling around him. If you're Bukayo Saka right now, you'll be evaluating things on the table right now. Jude Bellingham has just gone. There's stories right now on that he has already signed for Real Madrid, and he's going there to win stuff. He's going there to win the Champions League, to win the Spanish La Liga. I think right now Saka is checking, looking, analyzing right now. If I stay with my boyhood club, I might not get these trophies I'm looking for. If I go to Manchester City, I'll be a serial winner. If I go to PSG, I'm gonna have a chance of, at least being in the final or getting all these chances to actually win a title because they have the money and the wherewithal to
Yeah.
do that. So, as a player, you have to be thinking about all these things because if he's not thinking about it, then why not sign that contract? Sign the contract. It's your boyhood club. Sign it. So for the mere reason that it hasn't been signed, there's a problem somewhere, and this is the small screen that most Arsenal fans are not really looking at right now. This is the big fish that we should be looking at right now, signing up these big players.
So
Saliba,
yeah,
the same thing. If he likes Arsenal, sign the goddamn contract. If you love Arsenal, sign it. We don't
yeah.
have to activate your 1 year, one more year for you. If you love Arsenal, sign the contract.
On
So
the
there's a
contract,
journey
I
you
totally
go.
agree with that
Yeah,
thing. Totally agree with it. You don't want players it's just there just to sign a contract and not do nothing. You've got to work. I always believe you've got to work and you work hard. And then once you work hard, you get offered the contract. And then you try and
mm,
negotiate the best deal possibly as you can. Then you sign it. You know, it's just as simple
fact.
as that.
And this is the best time. This is the best time to get them to
Yeah,
sign because right now
yeah,
we've bottled the league already. Yeah, this is the best time to tie up. Give them the money they want. Get your main players, rally them round, bring in Saliba, tell him, see, this is what I see you in the future. Bring Bukayo Saka. This is what I see you in the future. Sign long-term deals with these guys. Go in, bring in a Caicedo in the summer. Bring in a Declan Rice and English talents to match up with Bukayo Saka, someone he could play around with at Arsenal Football Club. This is what we need at this time right now. But I'm sorry, we're not doing it. And in the summer, this might be something big anyway, because we're going to the Champions League. We have that advantage right now. Why not start tying these big players into big long-term deals? Even slavish
yeah,
contracts, 7 years. Come on, man, we can do it.
yeah. It's good. Well, we're going to move on, mate. So,
We can do it. If Modric can
yeah,
get 8 years, Saka can get 6 years. Come on.
well, easily, yeah, yeah. Well, so we're going to move on. We got a tough cookie away here, you know, to the high-fly Newcastle. Now, um, we we were just talking about it. The problem that we've got, obviously in this game, we're about our two-star centre backs. Saliba and Gabriel. They're not playing. They're injured. Um,
Is GMAC guaranteed not to play already?
yes, he's guaranteed. He's guaranteed not to play. He had that. He picked up that
Ooh.
injury against Chelsea towards the end, and anyway, he was limping off. It didn't
Cause
look
if
that great. But
cause if it was you, would you like to go to St. James Park? If you were Gabriel Magalhaes, would you love the idea of going to St. James Park right now? I'm
being
asking both of you.
injured, but being injured, like Gabriel
Yeah,
was.
if you were Gabriel Magalhaes, if you were
No,
Gabriel
no.
Magalhaes with the form Arsenal
No,
is in, would you relish the opportunity to go to St. James Park?
probably not.
You, I think you probably will. But at the end
Mhm.
of the day, Gabriel, he knows is everybody knows their own strengths and weaknesses. After a tackle like that and getting injured, you know yourself if you're fit in that game, even to play a first half. You know what I'm saying? The first 45 minutes, you know yourself. But I don't think he will because you can
He
you're going to
doesn't want
sustain
that
another
smoke in
injury.
St. James
Yeah, you're gonna cause another injury on top of another
Park. Doesn't
injury,
want
and
it.
you're gonna be out
Trust me.
even longer. So there's no point in risking it. So this is what I'm saying. So basically, I just want to get your views on this game. Do you expect anything for obviously from the Chelsea game? Our best players, you feel obviously are going to be playing. Obviously, apart from them two, the two centre backs. Um, would you um would you play Trossard up front on this one, or would you just say like sod it? Let's just play the best three up front with Saka, Jesus, and Martinelli. I'm going to go with you on this one, too.
Oh, me? Okay.
Yeah,
See, it's pretty simple. You're going to a team that's played 33 games in this league, yeah? They've scored 61 goals this season, yeah, and considered just 27 goals this season, the best defensive setup in the league, yeah. See, in 10 games, they've won seven, yeah, and probably maybe just lost only two, and that too. Come on, it's against Aston Villa and Manchester City. There's no shame losing to those type of teams, mostly with Unai Emery, with the come up at Aston Villa, and of course Manchester City. Completely no shame, yeah. But see, this is the bigger picture, yeah. Arsenal is going to St James Park, a genuine place where there's steamroll teams and more teams, yeah. Miguel Almiron, one of the best performing forwards this season. Yeah, he's raked up, I think, close to 3 to 4 player of the month this season already.
Yeah,
I think he is the one with the biggest record of that, of holding that this season. I think so. Mostly in the early, in the early during the early periods of the season when he was banging in goals. Yeah, this guy is genuinely coming up to play for Newcastle from the bench in their last match. That's how Newcastle is stocked and blessed with lots of attacking talents down there. See, we've not talked about Isaac, yeah. We've not talked about Wilson, who's team rolling teams, seems to be a rejuvenated kind of guy, scoring goals for fun. Joe Linton scoring goals for fun too, even if he's technically not a striker. Bruno Grimares from the middle of the park, see what he's doing. Fabian Shaw having a best defensive setup this season. See, no matter how we look at that team, yeah, that Newcastle team, Arsenal are above in points, yeah, but it doesn't tell the true story. These guys are genuine title contenders come next season, yeah, and we're going down there playing them in St James Park, where even teams like Manchester City that have steamrolled us at home and of course away at the Etihad have come there, begged for mercy, took the 3-3 draw and ran away. That's the team we're going to in St. James Park. It's a different environment down there, different aura. See, the owners of that football club, they genuinely care for that football club. They're always there every week in, week out. The owners of Newcastle Football Club are always there. And mind you, these players are fighting for their livelihood because Newcastle haven't even really splashed out, in the transfer window at all. So right
yeah,
now, those players know that what we're qualifying for the Champions League technically. Yeah, they're gonna go splash the cash. Yeah, they genuinely have that money. They can do that. They have that money, and these players are ready to fight tooth and nail for Eddie Howe to recognize them. Yeah, and that's what. See, there's no bigger stage to do it than when Arsenal is coming to St James Park, coming down there to have a little bit of a nickel with the boys. But this time we're going down there without fit centre backs. Rob Holding is going to be there. I wanted Rob Holding out of our football club, but instead, eh, Rob Holding is going to be spearheading that defense down there in St James Park in the with that screaming crowd down there. Genuine place where teams go and beg to run away from that, from that stadium. That's where we're going with Rob Holding handling and marshalling our central defense. But the shining light of the whole story, yeah, it's Kivio. I looked at Kivio against Chelsea, yeah. He's not your big, muscular, tall, 6 foot plus kind of defender, yeah, but it's that kind of guy that is young, he's okay. He can run, he can make a challenge, but he's still naive. This is his first season in the Premiership. I don't think he understands the Premiership quite well, and Mikel Arteta hasn't even helped his situation in any way because he hasn't infused him into enough games. We've gone out of the FA Cup before he even came in. I think we were already out of the Carabao Cup even before he came. So even the FA Cup, he only played a few games in the Europa League. He hasn't yet harnessed himself and connected well with the team in that back four. So him going down there to St James Park to play might be something. Might be something that might be a big task to be asking from
Mhm.
Kivior. Maybe at home, that might be a good centre back pairing, but away, I'm sorry, man. I just don't see how he's going to cope with those deep runs from Wilson. Isaac, who is ready, because mind you, Isaac has a bone to pick with Arsenal Football Club. We were in the market for him and we didn't go to get him. Newcastle believed in him more and they went to Real Sociedad, paid the money, and got Isaac in. He has a genuine bone to pick with Arsenal Football Club. He's going to be playing against us on Sunday. So all these players have a reason to come at Arsenal. Miguel Almiron might be starting on the day. Good, prolific forward as it is, yeah. Bruno Guimaraes will also be playing. See, it's going to be a hard one, yeah. We have to be, at our toes, and our defense need to be alert throughout the whole game. Throughout the whole game, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah,
Okay, Marley. Before I come to you,
I I wouldn't say people. I wouldn't say we should be overconfident when playing that game, Anthony. We shouldn't be
yeah,
overconfident playing that game. We should just go there, see if we can just play our natural game. Yeah, but
yeah,
if you think we just go there and dismiss the threat of Newcastle, I'm sorry, man. We might just get bloodied down
yeah,
there in St. James Park.
yeah. It could be bad.
Hello.
It could end up not being so. It can end up being great. We don't know, but I think there is a lot of word Arsenal fans out there. Obviously with this Newcastle game coming up. Um, what I was going to say was with the centre backs, Charlie. Um, you was there. Well, obviously, look at this comment by King Sap. Apparently, Gabriel is fine, confirmed by Mikel Arteta. But do you feel that if he is fine, should he be playing? Or do you think by playing him, it could be a mistake in case if anything happens in that game? Like if he picks up another injury, which could be worse than this one that he's got on top of it.
I feel like no one's right here because I like the last thing I saw is that he's gonna go through a physical test before the game. So I
Right.
don't feel like it's confirmed that he's not playing and it's not confirmed that he's playing. So that's what I feel is happening. And like Arsenal's a professional club. If he's somewhat injured, he's not going to be playing. So if he plays, I'm sure he's going to be. I'm sure it's because he's truly fit, not because he's kind of fit. I know it gives us PTSD to think about holding. I agree. Like I don't like hating on the guy. I know he likes Arsenal. He's been here for a long time, but I really want him to go too. Like I just can't stand relying on Rob Holding whenever any defender gets injured, it's him, and that's the big difference between us and the clubs that we're trying to chase. Like we don't have the depth. We have Trossard, we have Jorginho, and we have like Tierney. That's it. Like we can't really rotate. So so the other thing, I'm not afraid of him like getting re-injured. Like if he plays, he's gonna be fit, and I agree with Tony. I feel like it's pretty much the extreme opposite of the Chelsea spectrum, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a club that's doing really well, and it's a club that looks to have a really bright future. Because he's right, like they haven't even splashed the cash yet, and you look at players that never did anything this good. Now, like Willock plays really well for Newcastle. Joe Ellington, who like he was a striker, didn't work out as a striker. Like he's one of the most remarkable stories
Mhm.
ever. I truly feel like Joe Ellington's story should be more told because he was a failed striker who became a very, very decent midfielder. Very decent
Yeah.
midfielder. And yeah, the future looks bright. And if we play with Kivior and Holding, game over. Truly, like I'm sorry, like I can't even be optimistic enough to say we can hope for a draw. No, we're gonna lose that game. We're gonna lose that game
They've
because
got a very good defense. I feel
they
that
do.
we've got, and
They do.
I feel like in the attacking option, just the final third, not just the midfield. The midfield is mid. Don't get me wrong, that's where their goals is coming from. It's midfield, in my opinion, from Newcastle. But I mean, Callum Wilson, his work rate is good in that he's not a prolific goal scorer. Oh, is that the young Swedish guy? He's come in. He's starting to score goals and picking up his momentum now. And then
Yeah.
starting to find his rhythm. But I still think that Arsenal are slightly better up front in attacking.
Sure.
In my opinion. But
Sure.
I thought that they've got, but with the attacking players that Newcastle got against, let's say, an Arsenal's weakened defence, that's where the problem lies
I
for me. And that
Mate,
you know,
if we have two
Of course.
full squads, like two, everyone's fit, and we
yeah,
go there, the most likely result is a draw. Like Newcastle's good. Like sure, we might have like slightly better players, but you look at this situation. Even if we had Saliba and Gabriel, like Newcastle's at a place where they don't have nearly as much pressure as Arsenal has playing the game. They're not as young as the team is, so they're not as chaotic up here, and this is very crucial, right?
yeah,
And they defend better. They defend better.
yeah,
They've
true,
always defended better than us. Right now,
true.
like even if GMAG plays, I still feel like we're the underdogs in this game. We truly
Yeah,
are. Like Newcastle's been doing amazing
We are the underdogs in this
for
game.
sure,
Actually,
for
we are
sure.
the
yeah.
underdogs.
And
The bookies are giving Newcastle, I think, 2.43, while they're giving Arsenal 2.65. So even the bookies, they recognize the fact
yeah,
that Newcastle are deadly when it comes to St James Park.
it's
Eddie
hard.
Howe has
Mhm.
galvanized that team in less than 3 seasons. See, yeah, Uh, just last season they were in a relegation scrap, but right now,
Scary
Yeah, yeah,
prospect.
true.
Scary.
the change and the wealth
18
of attacking
months.
players that team got, genuinely fearful. Next season, that team, you won't recognize that team. Yeah, you won't recognize that team next season when the players that I'm hearing and see, isn't it all coming together right now? PSG fans at the home of Nima, just last, I think, just a couple of days ago, complaining and whining about Nima. Nima is going to go out of that football club. Guess who has been linked all week to Newcastle United? Yes,
Yo,
that's right. Nima.
Neymar,
Yeah,
Neymar,
Nima. And you know what? They
Neymar.
have the money. They have the money. That
mm,
could genuinely be the statement signing for Newcastle United. See, they have oil money to spend. They could just go and say, you know what, Nima, just give us a we'll just give you a blank check, write how much you want, and we can offer that to you. And we're going to the Champions League. So, just come in and make
yeah,
this
yeah,
place your home. And from there, it could just snap. And
yeah,
see, Aston Villa, they have lots of money, yeah. That's another team that have lots of money. They're on the come up, yeah. Next season, they
yeah,
they might be
yeah,
title challengers. See, lots of things is happening in the league right now. And so if Arsenal feel in any way that next season it's just going to be us and maybe one or two teams in the traditional top four, well, think again. All these other teams,
yeah,
they're ramping
yeah.
up.
It's true.
They're
Because
ramping
what I'm
up.
saying is now, if Arsenal does not win the league this season or next season, I'm telling you now, the season after is going to be Newcastle. Definitely, I think it's going to be Newcastle, and and if that's the case, they'll win a Premier League before we've won it in the last. Because the last time we've won it is 18 years.
Yeah.
Mm.
Big difference. See. Right. Anyway, I'm going to go back to comments. Anyway, Miss Melina, she's in the house. She's saying, "Big up, family. Big up, Miss Melina. If you're
Big
well."
up, Miss Melina. We love you. We love you, Miss Melina.
Love you, Miss Mel.
Matt's saying a big up to her as well, and let's have a big up for Matt as well.
Big up, Maddie. Of
Hey,
course,
Matt.
of course.
Big up, Matt. Big
And
ups.
King Dad says, glad to see so many lovely people in the panel and in the chat. Big up yourself and thank you very much. And he's saying Newcastle is the most formed team at home right now with Man City. They are.
They
They
are.
are.
Yeah, they are.
And he's
Yeah,
even
King
saying,
Football. Okay.
look at this, what he's saying as well. He's saying he's nervous about the Newcastle away. He said they've
I feel
really
like
stepped
everyone
up.
is.
Yeah.
Everyone is. Yeah, like we're very aware of the
Everyone is.
danger that is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously going
Yeah.
back to the message he signed, he reckons that Gabriel is fit for the game by Mikel Arteta. Can't see him playing though. He drops another
There's a
thing later
last
on.
comment from King's Football. Can you go into that message where he says we can't worry about? It's his last comment.
Oh,
Can,
King's
can
last
you go down
comment.
there?
That one there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He says we can't worry about what other teams will do in the transfer market. We have to focus on ourselves and continue to build and get quality players. See, it's all right if we talk like that, King's Football Show. Yeah, it's okay. But the problem there is that you're now competing in the transfer window with sharks, big sharks. Chelsea Football Club might continue spending. We don't know. They might damn the consequences of FFP and just go on a on a crazy spending spree, and they've already saturated the market with ill-intended transfers in the first place this past summer. Teams like Aston Villa that have tremendous wealth will be buying the players that Arsenal should be going in and strengthening our squad right now since we're going to the Champions League. So you can look away when other teams are going into the transfer window. But it becomes a genuine problem because you want Arsenal Football Club, which is your football club, Kings Football. You want them to get the best players out there. You want them to bring players to match with this with this youths in the team. To be challenging for the title next
Yeah,
season. Now you've gotten the experience of at least bottling a league title. Liverpool has bottled the league title before, but that's the experience that comes with it. But you need to bring in players to be able to, galvanize the team, help the team so that next season we can go, and you need the best of players. So if you cannot go into the market and get the best of players, if Aston Villa with big wealth are going down there getting that the players that you need to bring in to help you in the Champions League fight, or Newcastle with big money going in and getting the biggest players, then we're doomed. We might not even be challenging for the title because we all know it. Bringing players that know their onions and have a good reputation can actually win you the league. Manchester City have shown this time and time again.
yeah, yeah. And he's obviously King said he's wrote a lovely message here. Yeah,
Nice. Oh, Stephen.
love and thoughts to Stephen and his family. Yeah,
Rest
big
in peace,
big
Stephen.
love to you. Yeah, big love to your family as well. Yeah, and also my brother's in the house. Evening, lads. Evening, Rich. Hope you're well.
Dick Herbert.
Yes, well, I'm the eldest, but he's bigger. And when I say bigger, I don't mean muscle. Timmy met
It
him
was
last
nice to
week.
have
He was on
Richie
this
in
thing
last
last
week.
week.
Last week it was nice to have Richie. Richie, top
Yeah,
guy, great human being. I like him, man. I like him, man. And again, he's a Manchester United fan. He didn't want to go at Arsenal. He just kept his cool. He didn't want to. He had the right to go in on us and call us butlers and call us every name, from the book. But he's a pure
yeah,
gentleman. Those are the kind of people I like to just sit down and have a pint with in a bar or in a pub. Great guy.
yeah. He thinks that says Premier League teams will always spend big money and try to get better, but we don't have to get the best players in to challenge City and get silverware. Your thoughts on that? Well, we said it on last week's stream too. In all fairness, I think Arsenal's got at least spend 250 million next season.
250.
Yeah,
When's Arsenal going to spend 250? That's not
you've
going
got
to
to.
happen.
Yeah, but you've got to. I
Anthony,
mean, I'm not
Anthony
being funny.
Herbert.
You've got Champions League football. I mean, look at that. We spent 180 million this season. We finished fifth last season.
Oh my
We
God.
spent. So, in all fairness, he has slightly been backed this season, Arteta, but he's got to be even more back next season. So, if we spent 180 million, I
I will not speak.
think of
If I speak,
speak.
When,
Yeah,
I will
when
but
you
be in
say
problems.
think,
180, when
think,
you
I
think,
will
say
of-
not.
think of the
180,
disciplines we need.
you're adding the winter window as well, right?
Yeah,
Summer
but
plus
yeah, all
winter.
season, all season. That's the
Okay.
summer window and the January window. We need that season. When I say that season, I mean the first and the second transfer window. All in total, around about 250 million. We need to, if we need to get anything. Man City's going to spend next season. on maybe one or two players. But these are two quality players that would be coming in, and they'd be spending £100 million plus on these players that'd be coming in next season. Timmy's even said it. Newcastle's going to be spending. Manchester United are going to try and spend next season. Aston Villa, they're going to be spending. You know.
Yeah, but we're not going to be spending 250. We're just not. Like it's not. I get what you're saying, and I wish we did, but we're just not going to spend that much money. And you know what? Like I get what King's saying in a way, because it is frustrating. Like it's been frustrating as Arsenal fans for a long time, because like for a couple of years we saw little improvement, but the problem is it's the Premier League, so everyone's improving at a much faster pace. And we're at risk of suffering the same thing again. But look at the situation, try to get away from the heat of the moment, right? Like we're in second place. That's most likely where we're going to be finishing. And it's weird because it seems like Arsenal fans would have been happier if we're like around fifth or fourth place all season. Now we just got fourth place. Everyone would be more excited than we are right now, like in second place, because the better team surpassed us. Arsenal didn't even do that poorly in the second half of the season. We've been spending money in a like smart way, yes, not overwhelming way. Like we don't get anything like too exciting. No one even got excited about the Gabriel Jesus or Zinchenko deals. I didn't, and they worked out. Arsenal's not going to change strategies right now. Like the big name that you're expecting, that's at the most going to be Declan Rice. And
but everybody's on about Caicedo from Brighton as well. I'm not being funny.
Do you feel like Caicedo is more exciting than Declan Rice? I just said I know we're linked to both, but
what about getting the two of them? What about getting the two of them? You know, I hear all these things. I hear all these things on stream, yeah, and I want to pull my head out. Manchester City can go in and see they brought in Alvarez, they brought in the beast, the robust in Ireland. If you're a big team, you go in and get these players in quantum, yeah. Thomas Partey, look at what's going on with him. Is it a crime if Granit Xhaka is leaving the football club and we have two players in our midfield, Declan Rice and Caicedo? Why must it be one? Why must it be, we get this one, the other one? No. Act like a big team. We are the third most successful club in this league. We can get two players at the same time and bring them to strengthen our midfield. You know, it genuinely hurts me when I'm talking about transfers, because that's where we lost this title to Manchester City.
We need players in defence as well, so we need players in defence as well. Not just the midfield. We need everybody's on about getting Rob Holding, which is fair enough, and then you've got Gabriel and you've got obviously Saliba, and you got the other guy who we signed, Kivior, yeah, and people are. I've even looked on streams and watched streams that people are not even rating him, and what's he doing at Arsenal? You know, so if that and Tomiyasu, people are starting to slate Tomiyasu now and saying that he's not much caught because Ben White is doing a good job out here right back. So you if Tomiyasu goes, you need you need to spend at least 25-30 million on a decent right back, you know, and then you've got a centre back which is going to cost you around about anywhere a decent one now, reasonable one is around about 50 million. That's 80, and then that's 180 million if Caicedo comes in, because Brighton wants about 100 million for him. You know,
we're not spending 100 mil on Caicedo.
So no, we're
not bringing him. Yeah,
we won't do it. If anything, I'd rather drop him out, either bring in Declan Rice or get in McAllister from Brighton. Where he World Cup winner, Argentina. You know, McAllister could do a job.
He's going to cost like 60, 70 mil as well.
Yeah.
We're leaving Liverpool to run away with that signing.
I don't disagree with you, my man. The difference in my speech and yours is that I take better care of my heart, because I agree with you. But the thing is, like, we're not young, right? Like, unfortunately, none of us three here, like, we've lived enough years. We've seen Arsenal act for a long time now. Arsenal's not going to spend this much money. So given the structure that Arsenal uses, and given that, like, we're in the best year of this structure for over a decade, let's hope for the best. Like we gotta hold on to some belief that the smart business that Arsenal is gonna do is gonna like make the gap smaller. And you know what? It might get smaller. The thing is, the gap between Arsenal and Newcastle, Arsenal and Villa, Arsenal and Brighton is also going to get smaller because they're going to be spending money. They're going to be improving their team.
Yeah.
But Man City has very little room left to go up. Like they're pretty much at the limit of what a team can achieve. They have Holland like scoring crazy amounts of goals. Like he's only second to Herman Cano, who plays for Fluminense, who scored more goals than him in the space of 18 months. Just want to make that very clear, right? Make that very clear. Over like since January 2022, Holland 60, I think, Cano 67 or something. So, like just show some respect. But Holland is the second best striker in the world. He's scoring goals for fun. And City don't have anywhere left to go. They have the best defense in the league, the best midfield in the league, the best attack in the league. It's I feel like Arsenal is gonna make that gap a little smaller, but the league is looking scary. It's looking scary. Like we're very close to having, like 10 competitive clubs. And of course, like maybe next season, Spurs and Chelsea, they're going to flop again. But you have the likes of Brighton, who have been extremely smart with everything they do for a long time now. Aston Villa's looking exciting. Newcastle, man, I'm so afraid of Newcastle. And yeah. It's tough, but we just gotta work so that we don't go crazy. Because if you expect us to spend like 200 million plus, like you are gonna get disappointed. That's why I don't say it, but I get what you're saying.
That's the fact. That's why I was laughing. And if I speak, I might get into trouble. Big trouble for talking about that situation. And see, because we do know that all these other teams, they're gonna splash the cash. They're gonna throw 300, 350, 400, 500. Newcastle would splurge that market with lots of money. Aston Villa would throw lots of money come this summer. They are going to do it. If you have any alternative thoughts about this, take it off your head. These guys are going to splash the cash in the summer. And
let me ask you this, though.
We might just penny pinch. See, we had that opportunity to win the title. Anthony. Understand this. To win the title in the January market, we were to go in, get a defender in to come in and help out. And now look at Saliba out, and then we collapse the league. You know me, I've been talking about this, that Arsenal should win this league this season. Imagine the pain we have to go through right now.
Yeah. But listen, so we have bought a defender and he ain't done nothing.
He just started playing more right
He's
now.
just started playing. I know he's just started playing. We haven't really seen his full potential.
It's,
you know what I mean? But
guys, like I want to ask a question, but I'll get to it in a second. But the thing is, like, if you look at it, like with your mind, not with your heart, like Arsenal would have to spend a lot of money in winter to actually avoid City from, like, City are so much better than us. Like their reserve team is probably as good as our starting team. And they have so many options coming from the bench. As I said before, we have like maybe Fabio Vieira could turn out to be a good player. This season, he hasn't shown enough. Jorginho is the only good option we have in midfield. Tierney's truly the one true. Well, Tomiyasu was too, but he's injured. He's been injured for a while now. And we have like Nketiah. He's a capable sub, but he's not someone that's gonna change the game mid-game. He's not gonna come in and make a difference. Trossard might be that guy, or Martinelli if Trossard's starting. But you need more of that. City, they have a great player in every position to come in. Alvarez is a baller. People don't even know who he is. People don't even know who he is because there's a Viking scoring 70 goals a season in front of him. But he's a baller. City are so much better. We'd have to spend so much money. But I just want to ask this before, because the Newcastle thing, yes, this is the transfer window where Newcastle starts competing with Arsenal for players. And that's a scary prospect because they're most likely going to be willing to spend more money. But do you feel like Villa is going to be going for the same profile of players that Arsenal is this season? Because I feel like they're going to be going like one shelf below still. Tony, I was asking you, but either of you could answer.
For me, I don't think it depends on the position they are in the league or whatever. Again, mind you, Unai Emery is a big time coach. This guy has coached lots of big teams. He's coached Arsenal, he's coached Villarreal, he's coached Sevilla. He has a record down there in Sevilla of winning trophies, the Serie A winner. Many people do know this guy, and he's Spanish in nature, and Spanish by country too. So by nature, I mean that he could, just talk to a few guys in the Spanish La Liga in Spanish, and they would come in. They would roll in because it's a big time manager. And again, people can actually see what he's actually trying to achieve at Aston Villa. And mind you, this time and at this age, people don't look at football clubs the way they generally did do look at football clubs 10 years ago. What people want to understand is that is your football club running on what we call a project? Do you have a project running in your football club? That's what players want to hear right now. And how much of a team player do you want me to be in your project? It's simple. If Unai Emery comes, talks to them, he brings out this little jotter, this little notebooks where he writes profiles of players. He's going to bring it out to these big time players. Do you know why? Because Aston Villa now have wealth. They have money. They have money to spend. So just name your price. We give you a blank check. Come in and play for Unai Emery, and he will take you to places and be part of that project. Even ESR is going to leave the football club at the end of the season, and guess where it's going to?
Aston Villa with Unai Emery.
Believes in him, the coach who believed in him in the first place. So
That's
they
a
will be
good
getting
transfer for
players from
everyone.
Arsenal. They'll be getting players from Arsenal. He'll be getting better players. And mind you, he knows the Spanish La Liga market very well. He understands that market. He could go there, get good centre backs. Trust me, next season you wouldn't know Aston Villa. This guy's might genuinely challenge for the title next season. I swear. If Newcastle, see, you know what? Yeah, no one believed when I said Newcastle was going to be challenging this season. No one believed it. I even created a show, me and Steve Mahala, because that's my belief on Newcastle this season. I saw it. I saw the writings on the wall.
They didn't.
Look, next season
they didn't compete for the championship though. They didn't fight
next
for the
season
title.
I know, but next season it's Aston Villa. Take it. See, it's money. The business in football right now, it's money. When you have the money to splash around, not like Chelsea, those blockheads, yeah, like a genuine club that really wants to go into the market and they understand what they want to do with a transfer plan and they have the money, go in and snipe, get the players that you need. It's simple.
Yeah.
And Aston Villa, they look like they have that strategy, and it's going to work.
They do.
Look at what they are in the league now.
But guys, like, first of all, yes, and just like that, I had this shirt made, and it's like my favorite shirt right now. Like, I've shown it in the channel before, but I miss my brother too.
Love you, Steven.
I thought yourself that was the top you had. I've seen the photos you sent me, and I said it was great as well. And that, but it's like what Miss Belina says. She says she misses Steven so much. It's hard for her when she's doing streams, like thinking of Steven, which is true. I mean, sometimes you do feel that, even though what's happened, you still feel like he's gonna pop on a show, like sort of thing. But he's
because he was so present. Like, I felt that way when he was alive. I'm gonna feel that way now that he passed away. Like, I'm always gonna be thinking of Steven when we're streaming. I just want to get to the Villa thing. I agree. Like, I respect your opinion, but I agree with King here. I feel like if Arsenal goes in for any player that Villa are going in for, the player is gonna choose Arsenal. I get that Villa is improving, but you can't like say that they have a more exciting project than Arsenal. We just finished second.
I didn't say that. That's a misconception. I didn't say that. And again, yeah. Look, see, what players want to see, yeah, in a football club. That's why I was talking about a project. How much do you want a player to participate and be part of your family in that football club? It matters. Tell me, who do you think would come in to Arsenal Football Club to play on the right wing right now that will be comfortable to come into that football club, Arsenal Football Club. No one will want to come because no one would want to sit on the bench for Saka. They want to go to another because they know that Saka is this well-loved guy in this football club that it will be it takes a tremendous amount of guts to be able to bench Saka in this football club, and they won't come. They won't come. Instead, they might prefer a project where, oh, okay, at Aston Villa, I might be the only one. I might be the king of the yard. See, there's lots of things that attract players, and they know that, you know what, I'm getting money. If I'm getting money, and next season the project tightens up together, we're fighting for the league, could be a more bigger project. So the myopic way people might look at it like, we might not compete with the same players. No, players don't look at it like that. They look for longevity. They look for money these days. That's the loyalty they have. It's money. Trust me.
Well, that's what
With
sounds
the
from
right
this one.
amount of money, it's the money. It trust me. All
Yeah,
these players don't. It's money.
it's King Sat. It's
And
like what he
again,
says. Will Arsenal
it's
be
the
able to
money.
compete with the likes of Newcastle, City, United, depending on their new ownership? But it's like what we're discussing. It's all to do with money.
It's
I said
money.
I'm not
You
obsessed
can
with the
talk
amount
about
that you
love
can.
the club, love the project, love Arsenal. I'm sorry, it boils down to money. If you have the right amount of cash, it's done.
Well, yeah,
It's
I
all about
can understand this comment. I mean, look at that. Obviously the gems, but the players with like Trossard, Alvarez, Shevchenko, there's a Sectric. You don't need a lot, but improve the teams to play for. But no, that's right. That's right. I mean, Alvarez is just absolute quality. He's a baller, and Pep got a steal. I can't remember what team he played for
River
over in
Plate.
the Argentina league.
I
Is it
think it
River
was
Plate?
River Plate. I think it was River
River
Plate.
Plate. Yeah.
well, but again, we've brought in Trossard. Yeah, we've brought in Trossard. Has he won us the league title? The answer is no, he hasn't. So sometimes when we're making this type of argument, we have to make them valid in a way. Bring in players that could not just be a height above mediocrity or a height above the average. You can go for big time players that could actually genuinely win you the league. That's the difference between a big club mentality and a top four mentality. If you want to win the titles, go for the type of players that Man City is going for, and genuinely you have a chance to win the title. Go for the type of players Liverpool got at the time when they mounted a challenge and created a different project to challenge Man City for those titles. It depends on the one you want. It depends. It's your money, man. It's the money
Yeah, but
market.
that's what we're saying. It's like what Matt's put here. He said the way football is going is completely, is complete with City needing huge investments. Other clubs needing huge investments to keep up with the likes of Man City. But then again, you've got to put Newcastle in that equation from next season onwards. Definitely.
Oh, but that's what he means. Like they're going to be spending a lot of
Yeah.
money to be able to compete with City. Yeah, and yeah,
Come on,
Arsenal's
who are
just like
yeah.
Arsenal fans right now. Like should hope for a team that's. I'm not saying in the way they play. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
I'm I'm saying think about Atletico Madrid. Like it's a team that doesn't have the same amount of money that Real Madrid or Barcelona has. Every now and then, like every 4 5 years or so, they actually compete for the title. They've won La Liga in the past couple of seasons. They've won. They've gotten to the Champions League final. That's my hope because under the Kroenkes, Arsenal's not going to be spending the amounts of money for us to actually be because like we can have seasons like this where we almost won even though we don't spend the same amount of money. Next season, Arsenal might do slightly better and City's going to be further away because City had an underwhelming season for most of the time this season. So it's tough, man. It's tough. Like we're just not gonna do it. So we gotta
Mm.
we gotta optimize the way in which we've been doing business. Like we gotta be able to find the Martinelli. You're right. You're right. A lot of players might be scared with the prospect of being benched, but then again, like you gotta find that balance where like buying someone that's gonna be competing with Saka, that's upwards of 150. If you spend 150 on a player there, you can't spend anywhere else. So you're gonna have to find a player that's most likely gonna be a sub, that's young, that believes in himself, that can become the player to be able to compete with Saka, compete with Martinelli. Like it's tough, man. Football recruiting, like it's no joke. It's
Yeah,
tough to do. It's tough to
yeah,
do, and I like the names going forward.
That's why a player like Rafinha didn't come to the football club. It would weigh his options at Arsenal. Where would
He
I
went.
play?
He went.
Will I
No, he.
will I be benching Saka in that Arsenal team? Where would I
mm,
play? You know, he would ask himself these genuine questions, yeah, and he would say, you know
Dude,
what, yeah, I
but look at
think
the
I'll
amount
go
of
to
great
FC
players they have in
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
I think I'll go to FC Barcelona where I could at least win a title, and at least they'll pay me good money too, also. So
yeah.
when it comes to
But being
recruitment,
sorry, it's saying here about Yuri Tillemans from Leicester, but I hear Yuri Tillemans, he could be on his way to going to Juventus. That's what I've heard from a Leicester stream. So
Juventus loves a free deal. They
they
love
look,
it.
they do love it. Yeah,
but can Tillemans win you the league? Can he win you the league?
No, I don't
Can
like
he can he
the I
win
don't
you
like
the
the
league?
Tielemans rumor. I don't like it. I know it's a free business, but Arsenal have three decent midfielders right now. So either buy one great one or sell one of those and get two, which I feel like it's what Tony would have liked to see, and me too. I just find it
Exactly.
really unlikely.
Caicedo
yeah,
Rice.
Yeah.
Caicedo Rice. And we have Champions League football money. Go into the market, bring in these players. Go and get a Vlahovic from Inter Milan. Go
but who
sign him.
do
Bring him.
who do you
Juventus,
Or a
Juventus.
who will be playing?
Laturo Martinez. Go and bring this beast and bring him to the football club
Yeah,
and
but
see
who
if
are you
he
going to
will not
drop?
do something next season.
I don't like
You've got
Falcao.
Partey,
You
you've
know,
got Shepard, and you've got Jorginho. Now Lenny's going to be gone next season anyway. Even though he signed a year contract, he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
But you look at this one. You've got two here. So then you're left with Shaka and Partey, and obviously Jorginho.
I heard Arsenal is shopping Zaka
five
to the
PM.
Italian market. That's what I heard this week.
Wait, what?
And granted, yeah, they're
Oh,
shopping
Xhaka,
Xhaka
Xhaka.
right now
Okay,
as we
okay,
speak.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Xhaka.
I heard
It's been
Saka,
shopped around
mate. You
Europe.
got you got me
Sorry,
like you
it's
got me
Xhaka. It's
nightmares.
Xhaka. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's being
yeah,
shopped around Europe as we speak right now.
yeah.
It's
We're
being
They're,
shopped
doing
they're,
we're
around Europe.
doing
nah,
So
they're
we're
if
doing
doing
shit.
he leaves, Caicedo, if he leaves, Caicedo and Rice could just slot into that midfield pairing and form a very good one. And mind you, look at Thomas Partey, one of the most expensive players at Arsenal Football Club. When he played against Manchester City, you saw what happened. Shadow of himself.
he's been bad. But
It's
that's
been bad.
but that's the thing.
You know,
That's the thing. Like very little players in the world like have entire seasons where they're performing really well, and that's how Arsenal lost. Because if we get injuries or we get great players, because Partey was crucial. There was like until like round 25 or something, Arsenal won every game that Partey played. Like he was playing phenomenally,
yeah,
and then
true.
there's a
True.
drop. There's a drop, and you don't have anyone to come in to play at the same level.
But
And
then,
you
but then,
drop
when you have a
Jaka
drop,
dropped.
and that's the difference between Man City and Arsenal. When there's a drop, they have genuine matadors who would come in, and it looks like nothing is happening. Nathan Ake, I think in one of their matches they were to play, they were saying he was not going to play. There's an injury. Nathan Ake, this is that, bro. These guys have like up to 3, 4 players waiting, just waiting,
Yeah.
waiting
It's
to
nuts.
answer the call of Pep Guardiola. Sir, we're waiting. It's just there. Why can't we have that at Arsenal Football Club? Why?
Because we're
Why?
not owned by a country.
Why?
We're
Why?
not owned by a country. That's the best explanation I can give you. Because PSG, City, and Newcastle, mate, it's gonna be tough. No owner can have as much money as a country. Like they're owned by a country. It's gonna be tough to compete, mate.
When they were destroying Highbury, we're being sold a dream that will be
Yeah.
competing with the biggest teams in the world. So we should be self-sustainable right now. Self-sustainable also means that we will be competing at a higher level with the teams that are competing at a higher level right now. That's why they tore down Highbury. So if we're engaging in this dilly dallying, then we're being sold a rough dream. It's the wrong dream that was sold to us. So it's either they were lying to us or it's a failed project. And right now, when you've not won the trophy in almost 20 seasons, it's a rough story. We're being lied to. That there's a fact. There's a
Mhm.
fact.
Yeah, well, it's what I'm saying. On the next subject, I mean, there's so many comments. They're all coming in. I don't know if I can really. There is quite a few. There is quite a few, and they're all from King. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick out a few here. But anyway, big up to the people that is watching the show. That I hope you're enjoying it, and big up to the people that's putting the comments in as well. It's fantastic. Um, so. There's the one that we can also forget that Arsenal are also doing very well, 24 points ahead of Villa, 13 points ahead of Newcastle, and 20 plus points over Brighton. We need to be brave and smart. That we do, but I just feel like now it's coming towards the end of the season. It feels like the pressure is getting at our players, and they haven't got to try and let the pressure get to them because this is where we're going to suffer in games. I know we got Newcastle our next game, then after Newcastle is Brighton, then Forest and Wolves is our last game of the season, right? So we can't afford to be slipping up against any one of them. Brighton, I mean, our next game after Newcastle, Brighton, that's going to be a tough game. They beat Man United last night 1-0, and you know what? They deserved it, and they also give them a game when they was playing together against one another in the FA Cup as well. It was only because when that game went to a penalty shootout, Brighton lost the luck. But within the 90 minutes in the extra time, Brighton give them a game. So this is what I
Brighton's
said.
been
What's this?
good.
Harry Maguire on his way to Arsenal 55. Yeah, you can stick him at your ass, Dick. That's why I can say that 'cause that's my brother. And and obviously Dick is short for Richard. Uh, Here, Villa can't land the players. We are going for likes of Declan Rice ain't leaving West Ham to go to Villa. As much as respect I have for Unai Emery, we ain't going for the same players.
Sorry, sorry. Just before we even plan on even leaving, yeah, I want to ask you to this question, yeah. Is it wrong if we did go into that January transfer window when this whole title rubble was going on, yeah, and go in and put in a cheeky bid for Upamecano in Bayern Munich? Is it wrong if we did go for Ivan Indika in Germany and bring him?
Yeah.
Right now, we won't be feeling the effect of William Saliba right now in that team. Upamecano is surplus a requirement in Bayern Munich. Why not go throw at least put in a cheeky bid for that guy
Yeah, you can go in and put in a cheeky
and
bid.
cover our asses in the league? You know,
But trouble is, though, look at how
come
much
down
Saliba.
and
Look at the quality. Look at the quality of Saliba. I mean, a Unai Emery buy. What was he? 25, 27 million, and then we loaned him back to him, and then loaned him out to Marseille. And it was only he was only doing well. Obviously playing for Marseille, the football what he was playing over there. He come back over here and played pretty much a whole season of English Premier League football, and he's done particular well to So, in all fairness, we think I know what you're saying, but he's going to be our first choice centre back anyway. We need to bring it's quality, but at the same time we need depth because if Rob Holding's going, if we get rid of him, we need depth as well and a bit of quality in the back. And at the minute, we haven't got that. people are mooning about. Well, Arsenal fans are mooning about playing Saka all the time. He's getting too many games. Why don't people rest him? You know, the
Mm.
Arsenal fans are worried he's going to get too burnt out, and he's not going to be as good as what he is now. I mean, I know
Yeah.
he's young and does deserve a bit of a rest. You know, you can leave him out a game or that, but we just need to rotate these players. I mean, a little bit what we did against Chelsea. I know we played against a crap Chelsea team, a relegation Chelsea, but you know we can afford to do it in games like that. But with your top quality games that we're going to be playing against, the likes of Newcastle, Man City, or you've got to put Man United and even Brighton in there. You know, you've got to be playing your best players.
But see, yeah, in the summer, course, yeah, in the summer, yeah, who would you be thinking of bringing in as a central defender for Arsenal Football Club? Who do you think?
Uh,
I I would like to see us getting someone more experienced. I don't hate the link, right? I think we're more strongly linked with Gay, right? From Palace. Decent, good center back. I feel like we're trying to swap an Englishman for another just because of the homegrown quota, all of that.
Mhm.
But I would like to see us getting going for someone more experienced, just because staying on that tone. If we have to get an Englishman, we're going someone experienced. I'm sure Cousin's gonna love this. I like Lewis Dunk. I
Lewis
feel like
Dunk. Oh
he's a good
yes,
defender. He's a good defender. I don't think like he
he read my
wouldn't be
mind.
cheap. He wouldn't be cheap, but he'd be like he's what, like 28, 29. So I'm assuming he'd cost like 40,
He's he's
something like that.
29. He's 29, almost 30 now. But then
So maybe a
again,
little less, but he can
maybe
still
a little less.
perform like
If you
six
want him,
seasons.
yeah, I think you'd have to bid in somewhere around the region of between maybe 18, 20, maybe no more than 25 million for Lewis. Well, say 25 million for Lewis Dunk. I think that's pretty much fair because of his age and that. But I mean,
I'd
him,
be happy with that.
yeah, and the centre back that the other centre back he plays alongside Webster as well.
He's good.
Webster, he's a very good player. He was £25 million from a championship team, Webster, which is my home local team with Bristol City. We went there. Honestly, but he's not a he's not a bad centre back. He's playing there. So
Anthony, I'm talking about a central defender from Italy, from Spain, a brute from Serbia. See, man, I don't know, man.
yeah, but so I
You
know what
can
you're
talk
saying, but
about this English,
I
all this.
can't.
You can talk about all these English defenders, yeah, but man, I'm talking of a genuine defender from Argentina. From yeah, see, man, I need a tough tackling
I
defender,
know what you're
someone that
saying.
when
I
you
know what you're
see,
saying, but
you start
I mean,
fearing for your life.
yeah,
You
I
know,
know what you're
even
saying,
an
but we're
ugly
seeing the
one. I
people.
want an ugly defender, the one that when you see him, you literally want to quake. You want to piss in your pants before you dare pass him. That's the kind of defender
I feel
I
like
want
Dunk
that
is
suits
quite
Arsenal Football
scary.
Club.
I feel
Is he
like Dunk is
scary?
quite
Nah,
scary. Yeah,
Dunk is
Dunk
not
looks
scary.
sketchy.
Come on,
I
Dunk
I
is a little bit okay.
I
Nah,
But
see Dunk.
want a
I
brute.
see
I
Dunk
want
in
a
the
something
brute.
streets.
that
I cross
I
the
want a
street,
brute.
mate. I cross the
yeah,
street.
I want a
Man's a
brute.
big bloke. He looks mean. Ah, come
Dunk,
on. Dunk's quite scary.
Lewis Dunk for me is
But
fantastic.
but again, look at a player like Fabian Shah. Yeah, he's not a player with a biggest profile. Yeah, but he has everything a defender should
I
have.
know, but you
He's a
look at
football
Lewis Dunk. He
imposing
goes up
defender.
top and he scores goals. Team, he scores. He scores goals. Lewis Dunk, and you got to think in the seasons that Brighton since they come up to the Premier League, how many goals do you think Lewis Dunk has scored against Arsenal? It's quite. It is a few.
Hmm.
Agree.
Honestly, it is a few.
I feel
Great.
like with center backs more than in other positions, it's always smarter to get someone that's already playing in the Premier League. You look at the good players. Of course, you have exceptions as well. But you look at Van Dijk, who's arguably the best center back within the last couple years. Like he developed at Southampton. He was already good, but he developed at Southampton. Then he was like easy transition to Liverpool. Defenders they take a little while to adapt
Yeah,
to the league. So getting someone
yeah.
like Dunk. Sure, like maybe someone from like Italian defenders, like they have a good reputation, right? So I
You
get
like
what you're
Exactly.
Mings from
saying.
Villa?
I get what you're
I
saying.
like Mings from Villa.
Oh my God, Mings. Oh no.
Uh,
Oh no.
You
I
know
would
Emery's
prefer Dunk.
improved it.
I would
You
prefer
know
Dunk.
Emery's
Oh
improved it.
no. Oh no. Have you
I
seen
just feel
the calamity that guy has caused at Aston Villa in the
I
start
know,
of
but
the
trouble is
season?
though he's
Oh
improved under
no.
Unai Emery, and he's better than Rob Holding.
I just feel like
We're not
Even
the
King
bulk of
Football
the
is saying
money.
Mings is shit. He
he,
said it down there, man.
top five,
Bro,
top six
no,
still contact.
no, man, no Mings, man, no
We are
Mings.
competing with the best Premier team in the history of Premier League. So why would it be able to compete with Newcastle and
I
United? If you
no
listen
King.
to our
Yeah, I
big
think they were
season
talking financially.
financially,
Like financially, we truly can't compete with these clubs. Like, sure, players might prefer Arsenal over United every now and then because we have a much better project and a better structure, but like we can't offer the same amount of money that United or Newcastle or City can, or
if
Chelsea
you,
with their like crazy folk behind them.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. And again, yeah. See, we've been talking up Caicedo and Declan Rice. Yeah, how sure are we that Arsenal Football Club will close that
work
deal
out
at the
then.
end of the day? You know,
No, we're not. We're
how,
not.
how how sure are we? How sure are we that we're going to close in that deal? You know,
Right, so you're on about centre backs. Now this is the centre backs, ready?
Dorga.
Varga, ready?
Bagav, man, I've not seen Bagav in a long time. He's been traveling around
I
the world a little bit. So I
I
But
hope he's
think
safe.
the
Bagav,
best
I hope you're
academy
safe, man.
CB.
How are you doing?
Yeah, the best academy CB. I think it's Rule Walters, right? I think he's the most exciting CB we have. I'm sure he's like
yeah,
quite far
but
away from being ready. We
do
have
you think
two or three loaned outs.
do we not have any academy centre back? We haven't got really top quality centre backs in our reserves,
That
have we? Or in our academy.
that's what I'm saying. It's Rule
Yeah.
Walters. He's like the best defender coming from the academy, and we have Trusty, Rekic, and one more,
Oh
I think Northern Irish bloke, like on loan, Harry Clark or something. No, none of them are ready. No, we
All
need to
right,
buy.
Jim.
We need to buy. No, we can't save money.
oh my
Why?
God,
Why are y'all laughing at me? I'm just mentioning
we'll be
names.
we'll be battling relegation next season if we bring in those guys to play for Arsenal Football Club.
Sure, I'm just saying who we have. I'm not saying they're the answer. I'm just
I
naming the
know, I
players we
know,
have in our squad.
I know. I'll just, I'll
No,
just play
yeah,
with you,
we'd be in
man.
trouble. We'd be in trouble. We'd be in
Right.
trouble.
I'm just gonna say, lads, we've got Matt likes it an hour. We've gone for an hour and 42 minutes. I'm just gonna
I'm
I'm just
telling
gonna
you.
take it.
The heat's
I'm
on
like,
you now, cousin.
For
I'm
Miss
It's
doing
no
this.
Melina
longer
to
on me.
This is
even
the
be on the
longest I've
show.
done it
Miss
from all
Melina,
corners
big
ever
ups to you.
in
She's on the
history.
show with
It's the
us.
longest one. But all I'm gonna say is a quick question is: will Newcastle make Champions League?
Yes,
They will.
yes, yes. I mean, it's not like it's not done already, but you look at like they're the best informed team that's fighting for that spot right now. They're what is it? They're 6 points ahead of Liverpool. Liverpool has one more game than them, so like they have three less points to make. Brighton is like 10 points behind them, even though they're a game ahead. So it's going to be tough. The way Newcastle is playing right now, they might lose points against Arsenal. I don't think they will. So yeah, I just don't see them. They're probably finishing third.
They're probably finish. And Tim, what do you reckon, Newcastle?
See, yeah, come see. I believe in this team. That's why I started a show called Gunners and Mags, yeah, with Stephen Mahala. See, it's simple. 27 goals conceded this season. Yeah, that's the best defensive team in the league this season. Genuinely, the best defensive team. Who would ever believe that? And see, yeah, and I don't see them conceding lots of goals even from now to the end of the season. Those guys might not concede more than 3 goals. I'm telling you, that's how good. That's how good that defense is. Yeah, that's how good that defense is in less than a year, less than a season, from a relegation scrap to competing. this season going into Champions League. See, no one is going to uproot that bet right from them this time around. They're going to qualify for it. The only team I'm genuinely scared about is Manchester United.
Yeah.
The big red shark are swimming and rolling and waiting for Manchester United in Liverpool. Man United fans, yeah, I hope you survive that that Champions League run in. The big red sharks are waiting for you guys. But you see, yeah, Newcastle are gonna go through it. See, when you have a good defensive setup, even if you're scoring, yeah, is not really that good, but Newcastle, they have good strikers and they have good forwards. That's why they're going more and further, up that table, yeah, up that ladder. But they have that balance between scoring goals and knowing how to defend. And that's the basics. Once you know how to defend, you sort out a team that knows how to defend. It becomes a Herculean task for all these teams to come in and beat you up. So I don't see any team that can just beat Newcastle mercilessly this time around right now. So they might not
Mm.
drop enough points that might make them not to go to the Champions League. They're
Yeah.
qualifying.
And obviously, King's agreeing with cousin here about Waters. Waters is the next in line, and the issue that we get Champions League next season. Do you want to see Waters for his Champions League teams? I would send him on loan first. It's true,
Yeah.
yeah. You got to send him get some game time underneath their belts,
It's a
basically.
defender. It's very rare that a defender at 18, 19 years old is actually able to play in the Premier League. Like it's you don't see that often. So yeah, he definitely needs some
Yeah.
years on loan. And the players
Is
we
Matt
have
right?
on loan right now, hopefully we sell them for good money, but none of them are good enough to actually play for us.
See, yeah, Arsenal Football Club might need at least up to 7 signings in the summer. If we don't have up to 7 signings in the summer, we're joking. You know what? ESR is going to join his master at Aston Villa at the end of the season. Rich Nelson might believe in the football club at the end of the season. Arsenal is shopping around Granit Xhaka all over Europe right now, at least with the reports that have been coming out from Arsenal last week. Yeah. See, there's so many other players. See, Mohamed El Neni would be leaving the football club at the end of his contract quite soon. See, if all these players are all leaving Arsenal Football Club at the end of the season, yeah, aren't we going to have replacements for these guys? So if four is going, at least four should be replacing them, right? And then the additional players that are going to come into the team to help galvanize the team and motivate the team. You need a bigger squad when you go into the Champions League. If you don't get a bigger squad, then you know you're going to go to PSG next season and get slapped 10-1, or go to Bayern Munich, where I've been to, where we've been disgraced at Bayern Munich. I don't want to see that again. So you need squad depth, yeah? Apart from squad depth, you need big, better players, long and huge squad depth to be able to compete on all fronts next season. So
Mm.
I'm sorry, we're going to be losing lots of players at the end of the season. Mikel Arteta is going to be very, very ruthless with it this at the end of the season if he stays at the football club, and that's if Real Madrid or Barcelona don't gazump him.
Yeah. The trouble is, though, is that they go for elite managers, but to me, Arteta is not an elite manager at the minute. He's doing well at Arsenal. He's good, but I mean, the only thing he's won Arsenal at the minute is an FA Cup. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not
man,
counting
but
the. I'm
like
not.
no, I'm
Sorry.
not. I'm not trying to argue. Like the thing is, it's much harder for us as Arsenal fans to look at how good Arteta is than it is for people outside
Yeah,
of the bubble. Because what he's been doing at Arsenal is actually quite
I agree.
remarkable. It's
yeah.
quite remarkable. So
It is.
there's
It is
definitely
remarkable.
there's
He's
definitely
not
a
a world
space
class
like
manager. I
space
mean,
for
he hasn't
him.
got an excellent CV. An elite manager and a proper elite manager has an
But
outstanding CV. It
you
jumps
can
out at you.
you can
Arteta's
only
doesn't.
you can only get that CV when you're playing for very competitive clubs, and unfortunately, Arsenal is trying to become that club. We're not that
Yeah,
club
yeah.
yet.
Yeah.
So, like if there's only a handful of managers that actually get to those clubs.
Yeah.
So I feel
I
like
think he's got to
Arteta
win
is
it.
I don't know why Barcelona would try to replace Xavi right now, but
No, I do.
If Real Madrid went for Arteta, I don't feel like they'd be crazy in doing that. It
Uh,
makes
but
sense.
but but it was a known fact. FC Barcelona publicly went for Mikel Arteta, mid-season this
Before they
season
got Xavi,
when Xavi was having
oh, a
horrible
bad spell. Okay,
back in during at the time, and it wasn't even under closed doors. It was a public one. They
yeah,
wanted him down there. Real Madrid, they want him down there. He's a wanted manager in all the spaces, and that's because probably they've seen that if they arm him with a lot of cash and lots of money, he's going to do lots of things for the football club. But
yeah,
when he's at Arsenal, cash strapped, Edu not doing his job, Kroenke not putting up the money where he should be putting up the money at in the first place, then it becomes a gory story. So even Mikel Arteta is handicapped, but of course, he would say he's at the helm of affairs right now, handling everything. But I'm sorry, he's not the one. He's totally not the one. And again, if you're not giving him the players that he needs, his inexperience will show, like it has been showing in lots of matches. Yeah, he needs he just needs a good squad, to win us this title. And I'm sorry, he doesn't have that, and he doesn't have the experience to actually help us win the title. So
Yeah.
you know,
No, I didn't see him
but
leaving.
it
I don't.
depends on two of you. It depends on two of you. Do you think he has enough credit in the bank right now? Qualifying, helping us qualify for the Champions League. Is that enough credit in the bank for him to stay at Arsenal?
It, I think, yeah, it is, but he needs to be spending. Obviously, when you finish in the top four and you play Champions League football for the next following season, you get more money to spend. So, in theory, is what he is going to do. It's down to him who he's going to sell and bring in, and
yeah.
how we're going to play
The
next
sales
season.
are going to be crucial. Yeah, the sales
Yeah,
are going to be
Mm,
really crucial.
the sales going to be more crucial. But when the sales are going, he needs to buy, and we need that depth as well. Because I got to be honest with you, this team we got at the minute, we shouldn't have crashed out early at that stage in the Europa League. And if he ain't going to already add depth in this squad, we ain't getting out of that Champions League group next year. Whoever we've got, we ain't getting out of it. You know,
we'll be the
Calm down.
whooping boys of
and that's a
Calm
fact.
whooping
down.
boys of
That's
Champions League.
No,
unfair. That's
Shout
unfair. Like
out to
why?
Amy Baba, who is in the chat with us, a friend of mine. Amy Baba in the chat. Big ups to you, Amy Baba. Lovely guy, loves
he's
Arsenal.
staying.
Amy
Amy
Baba,
Baba,
shout
yeah,
out.
she thinks she can't see Arteta leaving.
I
Mm.
I don't agree with what you just said. Like I don't feel like Arsenal's gonna go out. Like if we don't buy anyone, Arsenal's probably gonna go through the group stage in the Champions League.
Right,
Arsenal's not a
okay.
bad team, guys. We're over
I, I,
70%
I know, but the proof is in the
in the
pudding.
Prem.
We couldn't cut it out in the Europa League. The proof is in the pudding, my brother. The proof is in the pudding. We couldn't do it in the Europa League with this
No,
team. So what gives you that confidence that we're going to go to where the big boys play, cutthroat players, where they have Haaland and the rest of them, these robists who are there waiting to snipe us over and mess us up in the Champions League. We might
Guys,
go to PSG, we might go to Paris and get slapped 7-1 with this team. We
that
couldn't
might
even
happen.
beat Sporting Lisbon. It's possible it can happen if we don't strengthen. That's the caveat. If we don't strengthen, we need to strengthen.
I'll
We can't compete.
I'll give you plenty arguments, my man. I'll give you plenty arguments. I don't feel like
I
that's
know, but
fair
we can't
overall. Like
compete. That's a fact.
when you play if Arsenal finishes second in the Premier League, it's not like there's a chance that Arsenal's going to be in a group with Man City, Juventus, and PSG. We're most likely going to be the second or the best team in the group, like on paper, right? Like we're going to be one of the two best teams in the group. So
you think so?
we're most likely going to be playing like weak, much like weaker opposition than we play in the Prem. Because when you're talking about those like the strongest Turkish clubs are all that like they be at the most like mid-table clubs in the Prem. So you're playing clubs that you're favorite to play against. When you're
Yeah.
playing in the Europa League, Arsenal actually rested a couple of players in both games. We
Yeah.
rested players. We didn't. I remember me and Tony didn't want them to rest players because we knew that Sporting was dangerous. Sure, but we rested
That's
players.
true.
When you're playing Champions League football, you're not resting players. So no, I don't feel like right now Arsenal's like already fearing getting out of the group stage. That's not fair. We are going to improve. We're not going to improve as much as we need to. There's no way in hell we're buying 7 players. I would love to, but we're not. So we're improving a little bit. We're most likely going to be, like getting
4, 5.
second, first place and doing more or
It's
less what we did
it's
this
very
season.
simple. No one said that we're going to just lose out from the Champions League spot. It wasn't what was said. What was
Anthony
said is
said.
that
Anthony did.
we need to strengthen. If we don't strengthen, that's the caveat. I'll say it again. That's the caveat. If we don't strengthen this team, we will get slapped up in the Champions League. It doesn't matter if we're in the
Oh yeah.
group stage or not. We will get slapped up. See, it's the bigger boy. That's where the big boys play. And for you to swim with the sharks and dine with the sharks, you have to become a shark yourself. And I'm sorry, with the team we have right now, we're not sharks yet. Maybe we're
No.
still, in that area of of whales, and whales don't bite like sharks, right? So we need to become sharks. Go dip your hands into that transfer market. Go in there, bring in Caicedo, bring in killers into that team. We should genuinely be looking at McAllister right now as an option to these guys. Declan Rice, we need to go bring him. Go get Ivan Indica to bring him as to have big and huge squad depth.
Isn't
Go put in
Indica
a chicken
signed
bid for
already with someone?
Opencano in Bayern Munich and bring him to play in the Premiership. Bring this guy to play in the Premiership. Bring back Balogun. You know, see, we need a big squad. We're in the Champions League next season. Bringing Balogun is banging in. See, it hurts me that a player, one of ours from our own, football club, is out there in France banging in goals, even more than Kylian Mbappe and Nima and the rest of those lots. And it's just there, left outside there to dry. And we don't even know if it's going to come back to the football club to even have or even smell a shirt in that football club. It hurts. It hurts. So we need to bring back these players that have potentials, send parking the ones that are failed, like Eddie Nketiah and the rest of them, push out Rob Holding away from the football club. We should be phasing out Granit Xhaka and bringing in monsters and killers in the midfield. Bringing Caicedo, like I've said, I've mentioned more times, McAllister. See, we should be looking at Milinkovic Savic also from AS last year. Great player. Why are we not thinking about him? Should be genuinely thinking about that player in the midfield, in the middle of the park. You're competing against Man City. These are the kind of players that can come in and win you the league title.
I know what you're saying there, Tim, but the trouble is, though, sometimes when players come over to the Premier League from Serie A, we get excited about the signing, but sometimes the player doesn't perform to what we
But
expect on the pitch.
not when you're a 6 foot
But
brute like
no,
Milinkovic Savic. You need to watch him play. You
I
need
know
to
what you're
watch.
saying. Yeah, I've seen him play. I think we were after him last season, weren't we? Or there was rumors like last season we were after him as well, and
Even this
also
season.
back in August. But I'm just going to go back to this. It said, will Newcastle meet Champions League? Yeah, in my opinion, Newcastle will finish third in the league. I just quickly want to get your score predictions in this Newcastle game. I'll go first. I can't see us winning this game. I'm going to go for a draw, and if I had to say a score, I'm going to go 2-2. Uh, Charlie, what's your score prediction, mate?
I'll stick with you, cousin. 2
Yeah,
all.
2-2. Tony?
Hmm.
You know what? No, 1 all. Like it's
1-0. Okay.
they've been defending, and that's a little bit of like wishful thinking. My
Yeah.
true score prediction might be more on the pessimistic side, but I'll try to maintain my cool and hope for a 1-1.
Yeah.
See, it's going to be a tall ask, yeah. But again, my mind tells me that Arsenal understands the urgency of getting this point down there in St. James Park. I see us scrapping a 2-1 win down there. And that's because the Arsenal team will have that belief that Brentford and Brighton might genuinely take points from Manchester City and hand us the league title. So let's see. I think Arsenal might nick it barely, barely, just nick it. 2 goals to 1. But again, it can go either way, man. It can go either way. It can go either way. I'm not convinced about that 2-1, but it can go either way.
I'll go either way. Wait, well, Amy Barrett, she's agreeing with you. She's absolutely agreeing with you. What you were saying.
Yeah.
King said, I've worked this out as well, and this is true as well. This is an Arsenal team that can still finish on 90 points, and not many teams has reached that. Not even winning the Premier League. We are new scrubs and just need more players in. This is true. We can finish on 90 points. And then Matt goes on to say Killer Whales, Hammerheads. I think he was on about you were saying the Sharks thing.
Yeah, exactly. We need Sharks and Whales, man. We need them.
Yeah. And then he said about I think Balogun needs to a loan spell. Well, it's basically that's what it is. I think Balogun needs.
And Balogun has
a
already
loan
said he's
spell.
not coming to sit on the bench at Arsenal.
No,
He said if he's coming back to Arsenal, he
we
wants to
know
be
what
our
he's
striker.
maybe.
He wants to score goals. So
Yeah, but is
why
he
not
playing?
bring
He's
him and
playing in the
bring in
lower
one of
league,
his
isn't he?
strikers to help?
He's playing. He's not playing in the over in Germany. He's not the Is it the next league down? It's like our championship. He's playing in. He's got like 20 goals.
Who?
No, he's playing for Ligue 1. He's
He
playing
played
for
for
Ligue 1.
Rams. Rams. Yeah.
He's playing for Rams, Ligue 1.
Yeah.
Oh right,
He's
yeah.
playing for Ligue 1
Sorry,
and he's
yeah.
banking
He's
in
got
goals.
about.
Yeah, like
He's got-
mid-table club. They're not doing.
yeah,
They're not
he's
even
got-
doing that poorly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got about 22 goals in 30 odd games.
He has more goals than Neymar. He has more
Yeah.
goals than Neymar.
Yo,
Banking in
Neymar
goals.
hasn't played well in a long time, my man. I wish he did because I'm Brazilian, but Neymar is no parameter anymore. But
Okay. Then Kylian Mbappe. I don't know
that's
how many
I'm
Kylian
not.
Mbappe is in right now, but he has outscored Kylian Mbappe. Just breathe. Take a little bit of a second away. Breathe and internalize that. Balogun has scored more than Kylian Mbappe this season in the French League 1. Think about it. Just breathe and internalize that just for a moment. Think.
Well, King's saying his head is saying 3-1 Newcastle, but his heart's saying 2-1. I take it that's a 2-1 win to Arsenal. And Ubaba says in here, Balogun has 18 goals so far.
No, yeah, I think he was the highest scorer at some point. I think Lacazette and Mbappe passed him, but he's close. The argument is still the same. Like he's doing really well. The difficult thing with Balogun right now is that like I'm sure Arsenal sees a path for him to be the number 2, right? Like you can't logically look at this season and think that Nketiah is ahead of him. You can't. But I feel like Balogun is not satisfied with that number 2, and like I feel like he's not even satisfied to fight for the like starting spot, because he wouldn't come back to Arsenal and be our starting striker all of a sudden. Maybe he would bench Jesus eventually. He's a better goal scorer than Jesus. He's not as suited to our playing style, but he's a great player. But I feel like he's looking to go somewhere where he's most likely going to be starting game in, game out, like Leipzig. I feel like that's the most likely destination because they're losing Nkunku, right? Like they always sell their players. So that's a stepping stone where he can go, he can kill it for 2 seasons, and then probably go to a bigger club already with a pedigree to be a starter at AC Milan, back in England, something like that. But that hurts me too, because I wanted Balogun to get the number 14, not Nketiah. I wanted him to come back and get the number 14.
Yeah, that's an
reminds
insult
me
to
of
Henry with Eddie Nketiah being number 14. That is an insult to Thierry Henry, in my opinion. If you cannot find a player of that quality, then I wouldn't have done a shirt number 14. What I would have done was catered it like, and then if a player can come in and, you know, give him a shirt number, if he then can go on to be like a Thierry Henry or close to a Thierry Henry, that's when you consider bringing in the shirt number 14 back. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion. Right. Basically, we've come to the end of the show, lads. It feels like I've been
Oh,
on your
at
stream.
last.
It feels like I've been on this stream for 3 weeks. I think I
Man,
need a
it feels good
vacation.
to
I go
go
to
head to
Brazil.
head
I go to
with the
Brazil for a
brothers
vacation.
again, man.
Right. Well, basically, I just want to say, guys, thanks for coming on. Whenever
Thank
you're,
you,
whenever you're free, you're always welcome. You can come on in that. And it's brilliant being on the show with you, Tony.
Charlie, it's a honor. It's a honor to go head to head with you again, man.
Same
Yeah,
here, my man.
yeah,
Same here, my man. I
yeah.
had a blast.
It's good, man. The last
This
time
was
you
this was
came,
a
it
good
was
stream. This
just
was a
so
good stream. I did
enjoyable,
enjoy it.
and
You,
this one again, so
yeah.
enjoyable.
The only thing that I missed was you two was the popcorn. I could have been just there eating the popcorn and just chilling back. Cooking.
No,
Yo,
actually,
but
me and him we have almost the same ideas. It's just that
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
and
he's more kind of like me.
and
I'm
it
more
it
passionate about it in
it
a way,
Yeah.
never got heated. It's just two
No.
very
No.
No, no,
opinionated
no. Of
people
course, no.
with
Of course,
with
It
I
was
do
it
respect you,
was
man.
opinionated, but you
yeah,
know what? That's what makes a
Of
good
course.
stream, lads. And I really
yeah,
seriously, I
it
really
does.
enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
sure, sure.
it's safe to say it may have been one of the best of the Gunners from all corners that we may have had.
Man,
I
man,
don't know,
it's a marathon.
don't know, but seriously, I really enjoyed it, and it was a good show. So, so before we leave, before we sign out, do you want to shout out everybody your show where everybody can find you?
Hey, see, yeah, guys, me, Charlie Anthony again. Today, the last time we had this show, it was an amazing one. And again, sitting again here today again with Charlie and Anthony again, it's just amazing. Yeah. See, you guys can catch me on Tony Cloud Gunner TV. I have lots of shows down there. I've been quite busy. Getting back into the space because I haven't been around for like about 1 month. So I just came back. So I'm just trying to, rally the troops again and get it going, once again. So, catch me on Tony Club Gunner TV. I have the Minority Report, Gunners and Mags. I have the Ran and Cloud Show. There's just lots of shows down there at Tony Cloud Gunner TV. So just come be a part of, come be a part of the family, come be a part of the show. It's as simple as that. Everyone's views, must be heard. There's no discrimination about your views down there. Just come if you have a view about Arsenal. Come down there and just talk your talk.
Yeah.
And Charlie, please, I think I really want you on my show, man. I need you. I need you to be on my show.
Yo,
At least come visit,
get
man.
my
You're part
number
of the
from
family,
cousin.
man.
Just let me know,
Come,
and I'll be there, my
come
man.
in there
It's gonna
and,
be an honor.
bro, yeah, man. Come in there and just talk your talk and come sit on the hot seat and let's get cracking, man. Let's get cracking. Anthony, man,
Absolutely, my man.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure sitting down here with you again, and of course, Matt. Thanks for the opportunity, man. When you guys call, I'm always here. So if to take
Yeah, you are
something
too.
extraordinary, maybe if I'm extremely busy or I have to do lots of stuff with the wifey, then I might not have the time, to come on. But right now, within this space, right now, I do have time to come on, and I would oblige. Thank you very much for having me, guys.
Yeah, that's a key thing. You're always welcome on this show. Right, I think that's it now. We've come to the end of the show. I think everybody, just enjoy the rest of your Friday, what's left of it. Enjoy the weekend. Maybe enjoy the King's coronation tomorrow, whatever it is you're doing. Whether you're watching it. This is in this country. Prince Charles is becoming king tomorrow, so that's it. So I'll
Oh,
take that
that's
off.
happening. Okay.
I'll put that on. Right, and yeah, and big up to you lads. I'll see you later. Goodbye.